Go for it.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure being here again. Tonight we're going to talk about giants of the soul, resentment, jealousy, and envy. The title is unusual. It's not. We don't see it a lot. It's based on this book from Joana de Angelis, O Ser Consciente, or the Conscious Being. It's also available in English. Joana de Angelis is the spiritual guide of the medium Divaldo Franco. They have written together 60 books, and 16 of those are the psychological series. It's a series of books that are like Joana is working to make a bridge between Spiritism and psychology, and those 16 books are related to psychology. And I chose this one, Conscious Being, especially this chapter that talks about resentment, jealousy, and envy. And the reason why she wrote also a chapter for this is because she writes right there, those problems, resentment, jealousy, and envy, are very common in human nature, and they are very strong problems. Like they end up winning over those who vitalize them if they do not face them. So it's something that really affects many people in different grades. Some people less, some people more. Right? Some people even, it's going to be a real bad problem for them. And we as spiritists, normally when we see a talk like this one, we always think, oh, it's so bad that my neighbor is not here to see this speech, right? We always think about someone else. We never think about ourselves. But this is for ourselves. It is. We always have some of these problems in some level, we can say, with almost 100% certainty that this happens a lot. Maybe it's not a big problem, but anyway, if it's not, we are gonna you'll see that it's gonna be a productive night. We are gonna learn something interesting. And Joana has a chapter called Human Problems. Before we go through all this, to the envy and resentment and jealousy, let's talk about human problems. The spirits. So let's talk a little bit about spiritism as a background. Spirits are created by God. God created all of us, all the spirits. We are created simple and ignorant, which means we didn't know much when we started in our first incarnation. We knew how to survive, but we have our intelligence, we have our conscience, we didn't have much. But we made a lot of progress. We had like many lives already to be where we are today. So we made a lot of progress. We are still far from the destiny, our destiny, which is the relative perfection. But we can see there's like the glass half empty or glass half full situation. But yeah, we did. I think it's a glass half full because we did some progress. We live in Earth. That is a world of trials and expiations, transition into a world of regeneration, and that gives an idea of that we already improved quite a bit. Still, we have some imperfections. All of us have. That's not a shame. It's normal. It's expected, and I think when we admit that we can make mistakes, and that the other people can make mistakes, it makes our lives a lot easier and more productive. Another thing that we have, law of progress. The law of progress, it's one of the divine laws. There are 12 divine laws. This is one of them. And it says that we always go forward in terms of our evolution. We can stay stuck for some time, but sooner or later we are going to move forward again. And we are, the way God created the universe is in a way that we always move forward. We will be progressive all the time. But to learn, to make progress, we have experiences that we pass on, that we go through in this life. And those experiences, like problems, like conflicts with other people, right? Maybe conflict is a strong word, but some small problems we have with, I forgot the word in English, but some small problems we have with other people, they are experience that we have, we can go through and we can learn with them, and we can make progress if you look at them in the right way. And we're going to talk about this more. But since we are not perfect, it's really interesting that we have to should work on ourselves and tolerate the problems of other people. That's pretty good. That helps us. Third point is the challenges the incarnated spirit has. When we live on Earth, we have a few challenges. The first one, the simple one, is that we are going to live on a material world. We have to survive. We have to buy food for us. We have to buy clothes. We have to have a roof to live. We need some money saved when we are going to get sick or we're going to get old. We need save some money. All this is normal, but in some cases we have a trend to be like to want the possession of things, right? To be too focused on the materialism. Maybe we start to want more than we need. This is the problem. So one of the challenges is to live in balance, to live in the material world but with balance, and also take care of the spiritual world. Another big challenge is that we are old spirits and we have problems from past lives. So if let's say in the past I had envy, I was an envious person, and I may have brought it to many incarnations. So, and then I may bring it to this life. So there is also an inheritance that we carry on if we fix the issue or we carry it on to the next life. So, and we bring to our life some problems like this. And the third one challenge is to live among imperfect people, and that's going to have some relationship issues. That's going to happen. That's the third one. But there is always since we are imperfect, there is always a level of frustration that we have on the behavior that we do and on the behavior of others as well. That's normal. That's expected. Another thing that she brings up is the escapism. The escapism are a mechanism that we have to not face our problems. So let's give an example. If I have a problem with a very old friend of me from many years, and we end up we don't want to be friends anymore after that. And then I get super sad with that. I get super sad with this situation. Just wait a minute. So I have a problem with a friend, and then we fight. We have a bad fight. We are not going to be friends anymore. So I get super sad with that. And the best thing to do, the healthy thing to do, would be to figure out what happened, why I behaved like this, what was my part on it, and then go talk to him and make amends. Right? This would be the healthy way. But many times the ego gets in and goes in terms of escapism, try to escape. It doesn't want to face the issue. And then we come up with things like, oh, it was all my fault. Then I'm the guilty part of it, which is probably could not be true, right? But I just want to, and it's all my fault, and I'm not gonna go after my friend anymore. That's it. So let's just live like this. This is one way to get out of the just finish the issue. Or you can say it's his fault, which is the easiest way, right? It's all his fault. He's the wrong guy, and I'm not gonna talk to him anymore. And then this is like it's a way that the ego chooses to fix things, but the ego is not in my. I'm not like a psychologist, but I know a little bit. I learned a little bit. The ego is not the smartest person. If you follow the ego, normally you get in trouble. So it tells you to do this. It's not a good idea. So it tries to escape from the issue, right? So and this is bad because it happened and I didn't learn with it. It's going to happen again. So it's bad for us. And the last thing, human problems, is the man is the mind. A person is not this person, is not the flesh. I am an incarnated spirit. So I'm a spirit, foremost. The spirit is the permanent part of us. The body is the temporary part of us. And we should maybe think that this is, when this is true, we kind of get a little bit out of the materialism and go more to the spiritualism. And we are going to give more importance to the spiritual part of us, which is so. And we should, like always, try to study our own mind, try to figure out how we are inside of us, because we are the mind first and foremost. That's what we are. Now, that's so bad. That's a shame that we have this. Yeah.
You are
I'm in trouble. So she's like she's super sad. The one that is here, like she's looking at them and she's very sad because. Okay, so let's talk now about resentment. I'm going to start with a story from Chico Xavier. Chico Xavier had a dog that was very sick. He was super sick. He gave a lot of trouble, work, let's say, to Chico. Chico Xavier, he's the very famous medium in Brazil. He died already. And very famous. And he had his job, normal job, where he made his salary. And then he had to work on the Spiritist Center at night. And then he would come home super late. And when we got home, the dog was there, and the dog was sick, and he would make a mess, and he had to clean up everything every night. But he loved his dog. He liked it. He liked the dog a lot. And he had a neighbor that one day she was feeling pity for the work that she had to do, and she decided to give poison to the dog. Yeah, like it was a bad decision, right? So I was feel pity for Chico and kill his dog. So he gave poison to the dog. The dog was sick anyway. I don't know what was the idea. But the thing is that Chico came home at night and the dog was dying, and the dog died. And then he was super sad with that. And a few days later, the sister of Chico came and she said, "You know, Chico, your dog did not die of natural causes. It was something else, like the neighbor. She gave poison to him." And then she goes, why? Yeah, she felt bad because we had so much work, so she decided to do it. She meant good, but was not the best way, not really a smart way to do it, but that's what happened, right? And Chico was devastated, and then he started to feel like this resentment or something like this bad energy on his chest. And a few days later, his spiritual guidance was Emmanuel. Emmanuel asked Chico, what's going on? You have a bad energy. Something is bad in your chest. That's affecting our work. It's not going well with this. So what's going on? And Emmanuel knew it, but he asked because that's the polite thing to do, right? He asked him, and then Chico explained to him what happened. And Emmanuel said, "Oh, okay, I have a prescription for you. I have something you can do to make it better. So you need to go to this person that killed your dog. You need to figure out something she wants very much, and you're gonna give it to her." And then Chico was, "Really? That's what you want me to do? But she killed my dog, and then I need to give a very good present for her." Yeah. And Emmanuel said, "This is not my prescription. That's Jesus' prescription. That you should give love to someone that gave you trouble. That you always have to respond with love." And Chico did, and he figured out she wanted a sewing machine. She wanted that, and he bought to her, and he gave to her, which was a very expensive thing. And when she saw it, she was super happy, and she hugged him, and there was this exchange of energy, love between the two, and really it cleaned up his heart. He was feeling better after that. And so it's just like the way your resentment, example of resentment, right? And I have to make a comment that for Chico, it was kind of easy for him to resolve this, right? It was surprisingly easy, like in just one shot he did it. For most of us, it would take a long time to resolve something like that. And he was really special. And resentment. So resentment in Portuguese is easy to say. Resent means feeling again. It's very easy. We're feeling again. So there was some bad experience that really touched you, and every time you remember the experience, you feel the pain again. You feel and feel and feel and feel. You don't stop feeling it every time. And with time, it's going to be really bad because it's a bad energy that's inside of you that can cause psychosomatic diseases for us. Joanna says a lot on the digestive system that's going to bring some problems there. I have heard some other people say that there's more than that, but that's she stops on the digestive system. So this is going to make a lot of damage on us, and also your life, right? So you don't live your life because you are thinking about whatever happened. You are getting bad mood. You're going to be. It's really a lot of pain, and you're going to feel the pain all the time. And it's we say in Spiritism, we say that the resentment is a poison that we take, and we expect the other person to die. So it's never going to happen. We take it and expect the other one to die. That's we are gonna get bad, right? And we know in Spiritism that every issue we have has underneath everything we have pride and selfishness. This is any problem we have, like psychological issue that we have down there. If you dig it, it's going to be pride and selfishness. But let's go one level a little bit higher so we can understand better. Jonas tells us that the problems are low self-esteem or resentment. It's one step. The other one is a feeling of revenge, or that something bad is going to happen to that person. These are the two parts that show for resentment. And we can say there is we want something bad to happen, because many people say when they are resent, they say, yes, I forgive this person, but God is going to do something about it, right? So there is this bad thing. We want something bad to happen. So maybe I don't want it. I don't want to do it, but I want it to happen. Or I can say, I forgive this person, but I won't never see it again. So it's not a real forgiveness, right? It's a bad quality forgiveness. So we do have those two things that can cause a resentment. Again, we have different levels, right? Some people are is not so strong, and some people is going to be very strong. It's going to affect their lives a lot. And what we can do to help, it's the way we work is like in a rational way. Let's look at this problem in a rational way. Let's try, because there is a lot of emotions going on, and with emotions we tend not to understand what's going on. It's hard to make it better. But when we think in a rational way, that helps. For instance, we can resignify things. And resignify is like see that situation in a different way. And basically, I would say see the situation in a realistic way, the way it really is. Take the emotions out. For instance, we can say that everyone has the free will. Everybody has the free will. God gave us the free will, and the free will is we are going to use well. We're going to use for the good or for the bad. And this is everything is on the plans of God. This is in the plans of God. It's the way He created the universe. We have the right to make mistakes. Everyone has the right to make mistakes. So if someone hurt us, in a way we can accept it, right? In a way, inside of us we can accept, but we don't have to accept the pain. We don't have to give the power of this person to make us to make it bad to us. We don't need to accept it. So it's in a way we can think that okay, I don't want this bad experience to affect my life, right? So I'm gonna think I don't want this person to ruin my life, but this person doesn't have control over my happiness. I have control over my happiness, and things like that. And we can think like maybe this thing happened for a reason. Maybe this thing happened for me to learn something. Maybe there was something that I need to go through. This is where signifying is try to make sense of all this. And because there is normally there is a lesson there for us to learn. If you go through that, if you take a look, why this is affecting me so much, what is behind that? This is where we're signifying. So there is a way to look without emotion, or with less emotion. And you can always look for help, right? Look for help. Look for someone to have this kind of discussion with someone that we know, that we trust, that can help us. That is a wise people, right? A person that really has experience in life, or a therapist or something that can help us. And now we go to jealousy. Jealousy. I think probably everybody already know a couple or two people that had a loving relationship, and one of them was very jealous, and it ruined the relationship. This happens a lot. It's very common. But jealousy is not only people, we can be jealous about objects or a social position that I have, like if I'm president of some association, and I want to be forever there, and even if there is someone more competent, I'm gonna stay on because I don't want to give my position to anyone. Or or at work, same thing, right? I'm president of, I'm the head of department, something, and I feel I don't want anybody else to be there. But let's talk more about loving relationships, which is, I think, is easy to relate. Behind the jealousy, there is a need for control. The person wants to be in control. It has a dominating profile. The person wants to dominate, to be in control. And this person also, when they want to control like every aspect of someone's life. They want to control where he or she goes, what the people she's going to be with. If they could control what she or his thinks, he would gladly do it. So he wants to control everything. It's a very painful thing to be jealous. It's all the time. The imagination is running wild. We're thinking about what's going on. This person doesn't love me. What she wants to exchange me for someone else. She doesn't like me, or maybe I'm not. I'm not. So nobody can love me, and she is not going to love me, or things like. It's pretty hard, right? If you start to think like that. The person lives in a parallel world, lives outside of reality. It's going to be thinking and obsessed with the other person all the time. So it's hard to live this way, right? It's, let me see what else. Yeah. And then we start thinking that maybe this person is going to leave me. And this is probably going to happen because I make their lives miserable, right? I'm trying to control everything, so it's pretty hard to be like this. It's a very limiting life. It's a neurotic life, and what is behind under this? It's the self-esteem again. The person normally has low self-esteem, and has of course, for the control. The need for control means there is an insecurity, a big insecurity on this person. And some people think that jealousy is a proof of love, but it's not. It's a proof of insecurity. We can, the way that we have to improve the situation is changing values for this person. We can think that first, that love is something that's not a science. Love is something that we, if I love someone today, it doesn't mean I'm going to love this person forever, and vice versa, right? We cannot. Love is something that starts and could stop. It's normal. That's the rules of the game. So there is no point to try to control the other person's love. It's not something that we can do. Also, if I lose this person, it doesn't mean it's going to be my life is finished or anything like that. So this obsession, we need to get rid of the obsession, be more realistic. There are other things I can do to be happy. I can be happy. I should be happy alone. And maybe I should stop the relationship and start to work on myself. And then when I feel better, when I'm alone and happy with myself, then I can add someone to my relationship. And this is more or less what we can do for jealousy. Next one is envy. Envy is my opinion is the worst one. Is pretty hard, and I'll tell you later why. There is a small story. It's a bit of a dark story, but I'm gonna prepare you guys. So there was a king, and he knew that there was two envy people, and one envied the other. It was they had like a lot of fights about this, and he called the two to his chair, talked to him to his office. Let's see, I don't know the right name, and he called the two to his office, and then he told them, I know that you guys are fighting for a long time, so I want to give you, make a proposal for you guys. I'm gonna give whatever you want with one condition. You have to, the other one is gonna get the double of what you ask. So you want something, the other one, you're gonna win it, and the other one is gonna get the double, and vice versa. And then the first envious guy, he thought a little bit, and he said, thank you, my king, for your offer, but I think I'm gonna pass. I don't want anything. I'm good. It was super unexpected, right? Because he didn't want more than winning something. He didn't want the other to win something. And then the second one thought a little bit, and he said, uh, my king, thank you for the offer. I want to lose an eye. And then the other one is going to say, it's a bit dark, but I thought it was a pretty good story in terms of understanding how it works. It's like sometimes we envious people prefer to suffer a little bit as long as the other one suffers much more. It's very dark, I think. Of course, again, we have levels, right? There's persons that are really bad, or others are not so much. Envy comes from invidia, from the Latin, which means I see something that I hate. I can't take seeing this thing, this the thing I'm seeing. So it's like when I see the success of other people that I envy, then it's hard. It's really tough for me, and it must be. It's also a very tough situation to be on this situation. It's really hard because the people is obsessed. The person is obsessed with the other one. He forgets about his own life. Like it's really difficult. And there is this destructive side on it, right? Because I want this destruction of the other person or the success of this person. It's pretty dark, and so there's a dark side. And instead of some people, if they see that, let's say, someone has a nice family or a nice car or a nice house, everything. Some people are going to work to get this, right? But if you have envy, you want to destroy that, but you don't think you are capable of working to get that, to get it. So it's like we are always going low instead of going high. Always, we don't believe ourselves as capable of doing that, achieving that success. So we don't want to see it. It's the bad energy. It's a really bad energy. It's like the proverbial thing that someone gets in your house and looks at a plant and wants, oh, this plant is so nice, I want it. And then a few days later, the plant is dead. So because this energy goes, it's a bad energy. It goes, it grabs the plant, and the plant is gonna suffer. Or even us, right? If someone envy us, is gonna send that energy, and if you are on the same vibration, you're gonna receive that bad energy. It's gonna hurt us as well. So if you are in a different vibration, doesn't affect us. If you are in a better one. And again, then we have in Portuguese, you have the words fat eye, the olho gordo, which is, or the mal olhado. Those things are related. Mal olhado is the bad eye or fat eye, something like that. So it's very, very famous.
Call evil eye.
Evil eye, yes, evil eye. Thanks. And then we have again, like I said, below everything there is always pride and selfishness. But in this one we have low self-esteem again, and a desire of having what is not ours. Those two things. We want something that's not ours, and the person doesn't know how to deal with that, deal in a bad way, and that's what happens later on. And the hints from Joanna is like also be realistic. I think look at this in a realistic way. Start to look inside instead of looking outside to the other people. Look more inside of yourself. Look at what you have that is good, good things you achieved. Try to be happy with yourself, and very important, try not to compare yourself to others, which is it's kind of, if you think about that in Spiritism, the Spiritist way, compare with the others, it's not a smart thing to do, because God picked the place where we are very carefully. So if you were in the place of other person, it would not be the best place for ourselves. We were born in the right place at the right time, with the right family, the right environment. Everything was picked with very carefully by God. And when we want to change this, that's not going to be good for us. So it's better to be content. I mean, we always want to improve, but better to believe. Let's change the phrase. Let's start believing that the place where we are is the best place for us, and we should evolve based on where we are now, and not on the place of someone else. Another good thing, like we can recognize what I want and try to look at why I want this, why I want that, what is inside me that wants this thing so much, why I have this reason, and be not destructive, right? And try not to be destructive. Okay, this is it for envy. Now, common points. We have always the three cases: pride and selfishness. And pride and selfishness is behind every problem we have, every psychological problem we have, every imperfection we have. Is pride and selfishness there. Low self-esteem, it's on all of them, which means we seek validation from outside. We don't find our value inside of us. Then we try to look outside, and we don't know how to do it. These are the common points. And now, what to do? We got some hints from that I talked on each one, right? But there are some general things that we can do for those problems and every problem. One of them is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge, there's a part of the gospel, Spiritist gospel, and the Spirit's book. St. Augustine, he talks about self-knowledge, and he gives a very good lesson, which is in one of his incarnations, he had a life that he evolved quite a bit. It was really good. And what he normally did is every night he would go to bed and he would lay down and he would think about his day, what he had done, what he had not done, the good he had done, or he had not done, the feelings he had, what happened, or if someone complained about him. if there was some merit on that complaint, maybe there is, he could learn. And what he could do better, what he could not do better, what he could stop doing every day. So he would go over his day and think about all the situations that happened. And he would like also pray to his guardian angel to help him every day to do it and to do it in a productive way. And he said it worked very well for him. And I think it's one of the very most interesting parts of the Book of Spirits book about this part. Is very important one. It's a very good one, a very good lesson. The other thing is the self-love. The self-love, it's for me it was a new concept. I never saw that before. I tried to research and what I came up with, and if someone knows a better definition, tell me after the speech. But what I understood is that self-love is like that we take care of ourselves. We take care of our body. We take care of our thoughts. We take care of the feelings we have. So we just take very good care of ourselves. We try to make good decisions based on our body and our soul. And I was thinking on one example. Let's say if I got an employment offer from a cigarettes company, and a very good one, I would make a lot of money. And in principle, if you just think about the material side of yourself, it's good, right? I should take the job. But if I think about, for instance, my self-esteem, how I'm gonna feel if I'm gonna work for a company that makes cigarettes, that's gonna hurt people's health, and also maybe it's not very good a proposal. So if I think about the decisions in a way that is good for not only for my body, but for the whole person, then it's I think it's self-love. You are loving yourself. You are making the good decisions for yourself. And self-esteem, we can talk. We can have a talk about this. Just self-esteem. It's you can see it's the root of all the three problems we saw here, right? It's very important to have a good self-esteem. And self-esteem is the value we give ourselves. We look inside of us and we evaluate what our strengths, our weaknesses, and we give a value. And if you are happy with that, we have good self-esteem. If you don't have it, then we have a low self-esteem. And one thing that helps with self-esteem is humility. To be able to look at the inside of yourself without judging and without looking what we are, and then we know that we're going to find some imperfections there, and that's normal. Self-forgiveness, yeah. That's very likely, yes. The other one is meditation. Meditation, she talks about, Joanna Deus talk a lot about meditation. It's a way for us to is a way to grow from inside out. So it opened the perception, it opened the communication with the high level thoughts, some high vibration thoughts. It opens the communication. Joanna says the prayer is the way to sterilize our what we want. And the meditation is when we listen to it, when we're listening to the answer to our prayer. Prayer again. Here we go. We are some other ones. She says for us to do. We pray to talk to God, to have a relationship with God. We talk to Him, and if we make it a habit, we are going to have a very good communication with God. We're going to feel close to God, and it's going to be very, very good for us. So, like I said, it's when we talk is the prayer, when we listen is the meditation. Relaxing is when we are like a bit not in harmony. We are feeling a bit agitated or something, then we make a pause and we're gonna relax and try to go back to normal, right? To higher, make our vibration go high again. And another last one is the real objective. The real objectives, I mean, real objectives, like we think about what are the real objectives that we want from life, why we are here, right? Are we here to make money or to go after the material parts of life, or are we here to go to go after the spiritual parts of life? And then we know that the real objectives are the spiritual part. So if we have that in mind, it's going to be when there will be a time in our lives that we are going to be looking back and see what we did, and we are going to see everyone is going to go through this at some point in life, and we are going to look at the material part, the material things we achieved. They're not going to be very important. What is going to be important is how much we loved, how much people loves us. My kids, if I had a family, did I try my best to raise them well? Did I try to work on myself? How much a better person I am if I compare with when I was young and now at the end of my life? Did I do a good job to improve myself? So these are the important things. This is what I think about real objectives. We should maybe keep that in mind, that the real things we need to do are not what society asks us to do. I had one more thing, but yeah, I forgot this one. But yeah, I think that's it. If I remember, I see later. Okay. Yeah, that's all I have. This is the end of it. So if you guys have any questions, now it's the time.
Thank you.